Welcome back to Briggs on Books, where we talk to authors about their books and their ideas and their process, what they go through to get books out, and also we talk to people who are working on their books and are in progress. And I know we have so many viewers that they're prospective authors. They've got their book almost written. They're just having trouble getting across the finish line and getting it out there. And then there's those who did finish writing and they say, now what do I do? How do I get it published? And there's so many things. We talk about all that on this show. And I'm really excited to have our next guest because she helps authors. She's an author herself. She's done it. She's got over the finish line. She has books out there. Welcome, Kellie Nissen. Welcome, Kellie.
Oh, thank you, Mike. Thank you for having me.
Tell our viewers where you are.
I'm in Canberra, which is the capital city of Australia. So was born and bred here.
I say Canberra, but I'm saying it wrong.
Yeah, look, Australian accent, we slur everything. So just Canberra. Canberra.
And what,
yeah.
It's about 1:15 in the afternoon here. What time is it there?
It is 20 to 7 in the morning.
Oh, it's on the
Thursday.
next day. You're tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm speaking to the future.
You are. I'm coming to you from the future.
That's amazing. Now, we're going to talk about your books in a minute. For example, this one that's on the screen, What Cancer Said, and also A Blink in Time, and some other things too. But tell me about your work as a author coach.
Okay, so as an author coach, and I've been doing this for about 6 years because I was a teacher prior to that for 26 years. But so now as an author coach, I work in groups or one-on-one with aspiring authors, and let's just call them authors because anybody who starts writing something should get into the mode of calling themselves an author.
Yeah.
So I work with authors of all types to to conceive the idea for their book and put it together, structure it. I also edit their books, and then I help them get it out into the world, whether it's self-publishing or traditional publishing. So I'm with people every step of the way as a mentor and as a coach.
And you will edit? You're an editor?
Yes. I started editing and proofreading, and then really quickly discovered that I got a lot of joy out of actually working one-on-one with people to help them, to teach them and to help them craft the best story they possibly could.
And what about the authors that I often describe that they're pretty much almost done? They just can't seem to finish the book off.
Oh, yeah, okay. So that's I call that last chapter paralysis, where you sort of, and I've had clients that have got to that stage. They're up to the last chapter and they've got great work, and then they have this self-doubt set in that their work's not good enough and nobody will read it and all that sort of thing. And they somehow that stops them from actually finalizing that last chapter. And it's a bit of a hump to get across, but you've just got to believe in yourself. So, and some people too, like they get to the end and they have finished that last chapter, but they know that there's something not quite right about the book, but they can't see it. So I often will step in there too and say, okay, look, you've just got a bit of a slump in the middle. Let's see if we can work on that a little bit.
How about this? If somebody's kind of got their book pretty much written and they know how they want it to end, is there a problem? Would it be wrong to bring someone in just to finish writing it for you, a ghostwriter or something like that?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Sometimes, and I also do a little bit of that, but sometimes your book just needs a fresh set of eyes.
Yes.
So you get to that point where you are so close to it, you can't actually see what's wrong, or it might not be something that's wrong. It might be just something that just doesn't sit right with you. And a lot of people run out of time as well, too.
As you've been writing for weeks and months and maybe years sometimes, you get this can't see the forest for the trees effect. I would imagine that the fresh set of eyes could really come in and straighten some things out.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And with both of my books, I actually I went through that process myself with another coach as well, because I can do this with other people, but to actually
Yeah.
coach yourself is
So,
tricky.
so even the coach gets a coach. So
The
nobody should be
coach
afraid.
needs a coach.
Nobody should be afraid to reach out and get a coach. Uh,
Absolutely not. No, there's no shame in that at all. And sometimes it's just nice to have somebody else in your corner who believes in your book as much as you do.
that's great. Yeah, nobody should be expected to be an expert at writing a book if you've never written one before. So get a
Absolutely.
coach. call
Yes.
call Kellie Nissen. She'd be a great coach. Tell us about your books. I'll put this one up on the screen. What Cancer Said.
Yep. So that one, What Cancer Said and What I Said Back, that was my first book, and it's a memoir of the year that I had breast cancer, which was 2017. It was also the book that I was never going to write, because when I first got diagnosed with cancer, somebody who I'd known for a while in the publishing industry said to me, "Oh my God, you should write a memoir about this, your experience." And I'm like, there are hundreds of breast cancer and cancer memoirs out there. What would make my book any different? Who's going to want to read my story? Why should I tell it? That's just silly. I'll focus on other things. And then I was coming up to the 5-year mark, after the initial diagnosis and after treatment had ended. And that's, for some reason, particularly with breast cancer people, that seems to be the magic number, because that's when you can divorce your oncologist, if you like, if everything's going well. And I had this voice in my head just saying, you need to write your memoir. You just need to do it. And I'm like, don't be silly. I don't need to do that. And so, but it wouldn't leave me alone. So eventually I did, but I came up with this concept that I wanted it to be a little bit different. So I actually gave breast cancer a voice, and I made her into a nasty, nasty female character. And then I also gave voice and, I suppose it was anthropomorphized, so making into human characters, all of the emotions that I went through. So it's a conversation book. So it's mainly memoir, and it's a tribute to my grandmother, in a way as well. But it details that year that I had, with me basically kicking cancer to the curb, I suppose. So yeah, but it's also very raw and very, very honest.
I think that when somebody gets breast cancer, it's your first time. I mean, you don't know anything about it, and you probably feel you're all alone out there. But maybe this book, for somebody who's going through that, might show that they're not alone. And
Yeah, absolutely. And that was part of the reason I wrote it. The other part was for people who are friends or family of people who have breast cancer, so that they know, like, there's a lot of platitudes. A lot of people don't know what to say.
Wait,
And
that's right.
this is me saying to you, hey, this is what people said to me, but this is what I really needed.
Yeah.
But it's very much me.
We're going to have to move through the rest of this in a couple of minutes. Sorry to rush you, but
Sorry.
you're too fascinating. I'm going over time for you. A Blink in Time.
Yes. Okay, so A Blink in Time, Tales from Goanna. This book came out of my memoir, because I wanted to include the stories of my dragon boat team. So I paddle with Dragons Abreast Canberra, which is part of Dragons Abreast Australia, and everybody in our team has had breast cancer at some point. So I wanted to include little snippets and little anecdotes from my team members in my memoir, and I started interviewing them, and came to the point where I'm like, I need to tell their whole story, and I can't put that in my memoir. So A Blink in Time contains 22 stories of women who are in my team who've had breast cancer and their breast cancer experiences. And then I weaved it together with a narrative that brings the reader out in the boat with us, which is Goanna, hence the name, brings the reader out in the boat with us to take them on a training session. So it's teaching people about dragon boating, but also acknowledging the stories of the women in my team.
Yeah, we as you're telling that story, our viewers got to see the boat and the team and the caricatures of the team members. So, and every one of them had been touched by breast cancer.
Yes, yes. So most of the ladies in the team have had breast cancer, and some of them are the supporters. So they like we've got two sisters, we've got a mother and daughter, and but everybody's been touched by breast cancer in some way. It's an amazing team to belong to.
I'm gonna have to have you back again because I got to explore deeper your books and deeper your services to other authors, and you're very inspiring. You're doing all this for other people, and it's an interesting journey you're on. Any last thoughts for our viewers before we have to go?
Yeah, I just want to say to people, if you've got a story and you think nobody's going to be interested in your story, I'm here to tell you that they will be. So get a coach, write your story because it's very powerful.
Very good.
To do that. Yeah.
Thank you, Kellie Nissen. Nissen?
Yes, Nissen.
All the way from Canberra, Australia. And we'll be back. We have more authors coming up. We'll be back with more right after this.